There's no shortage of items we can buy or experiences that we can spend our hard-earned money on. With clever marketing companies and a culture geared towards spending, it's easy to fall victim to these businesses who rely on your money. Oftentimes, you might not even know you're falling into these traps. You might wake up one day and wonder why you're broke with no extra cash and nothing invested for your future. You work full-time, make a comfortable income, but all you seem to do is punch the clock and pay bills. Instead of feeling like you can never get ahead, pay attention to these 7 common money traps that people fall into. My name is Chris, and I help teach people about money, personal finance, and investing. If you're interested in improving your financial future, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if this video is helpful. Number 7. Going deeply into student debt. Borrowing money to go to college to further your education is a path that many take. The degree you get could allow you to earn much more money in the workforce. With the average student loan debt of over $37,000 per borrower, this isn't a decision to take lightly, as this amount can be crippling when starting your career. One problem is that many students choose the wrong field. This could mean that they simply don't want to do the job that they studied for because they didn't understand the job's task or because they changed their mind about their career path. Many students don't do the proper research to thoroughly understand the cost of obtaining a degree and the salary they'll be earning upon graduation. A common mistake is spending $37,000 on schooling only to earn $40,000 in the workforce. Furthermore, attending an expensive and prestigious school that's pricing is out of the budget can be counterproductive. There are many ways to increase the likelihood of making the right decision with a high return on investment that won't break the bank. Number 6. Not investing. It's no secret that it's smart to begin investing for your future as soon as possible. The earlier you begin, the sooner you'll be financially free and your investment's value will begin snowballing. Despite this being widely known, a common behavior is delaying the habit of investing for various reasons. Some people don't invest because they want to enjoy their life before they're too old. Others know they should be investing but decide to worry about it down the road and put it off to a later date. Paying yourself first and setting aside a portion of every paycheck is perhaps the best way to make sure you're on the right track, yet many people fail to do so. Once you implement this behavior and make it a habit, you won't even notice until you check the account and realize how large it has become. Delaying the act of investing until you're in your 50s or 60s will make achieving a comfortable retirement exponentially more difficult than if you had started in your 20s, 30s, or 40s. Number 5. Keeping high-interest debt. While debt isn't generally a good thing, debts that have a high interest rate are the real problem. Most commonly, this is in the form of a credit card, but it can also be a car or student loan. Credit card companies are known for charging unbelievably high interest rates that make it nearly impossible to pay off the balance when making the minimum payment. According to the Federal Reserve, the average credit card interest rate is about 16%. Instead of earning a 16% return on your investment and having compound interest work in your favor, it's basically working against you. For a comparison, the average return of the S&P 500 is about 10% per year, so it usually doesn't make sense to even begin investing before these expensive loans are repaid. Adding to the problem, most of these debts are accumulated from purchasing items that provide little to no value. These are items you bought and either don't use anymore, are worthless, or worse, you can't even remember what you bought, but the debt follows you around for years. Number 4. Thinking you can get rich quick. The last thing a young person wants to hear is that it takes many years to build wealth. The thought of having to work 40 hours per week, 50 weeks per year for the foreseeable future isn't the most enticing concept. While there are many options that will speed up this process, making a lot of money from your investments usually takes a long time. Just ask an average millionaire and they'll tell you that it was a long, boring process that got them there. Many times, it takes beginner investors some time before they realize that there are few shortcuts when it comes to investing. They might think that they can get rich doing something aside from traditional retirement planning, like buying a hot stock or day trading, but this often backfires and results in lost money. That's not to say you shouldn't try some more speculative investments on occasion, but your best bet is investing primarily in something with a long track record and using only a portion of your funds for speculative options. Number 3. Working for less than what you're worth. It's common practice for employers to pay their employees less than what they deserve. After all, they're trying to get people to do a job for the least amount of money possible. It's said that employers pay their employees just enough so that they don't quit. How many people do you know whose employer hasn't given them a raise in years, or if they did get a raise, it was 3% or an insulting amount that's less than the rate of inflation? This means you're basically getting paid less than the prior year despite more experience. Combine the increasing difficulty employers are having finding help and the cost of replacing employees that leave, and that's completely unreasonable. Finding a job elsewhere could result in a large raise if you're being paid less than what you're worth. If you like where you work, consider politely but firmly requesting a raise and be prepared by knowing market rates for your position. Be ready to change jobs if the employer refuses to pay what you're worth. While it can be uncomfortable and inconvenient to change jobs, a 30% raise might make it worthwhile. Number 2. Buying too much house. It's easy to fall in love with a beautiful new house with the kitchen of your dreams and more space than you'll know what to do with. The stately curb appeal and sprawling backyard is sure to impress. Home buying is an emotional process, and it's easy to overspend and end up with a housing cost that's too rich for your paycheck. You want to look rich and successful to your friends and family, right? How else will they know that you make a lot of money? The truth is, they probably don't care, you're the only one. Using every dollar of your mortgage pre-approval can be tempting, but it's not the smartest idea. Although the house is likely to increase in value, being house poor is no fun when you can't afford to repair your car or take an occasional vacation. When you factor in taxes, insurance, HOAs, maintenance, utilities, and the cleaner you'll need to help with all that space, this expense can easily eat up more than half your income. Number 1. Taking out a huge car loan. When your peers get their first full-time job, it's likely they reward themselves with a brand new car. The car might be shiny and up to date, but what comes with it is a large loan that won't be paid back for many years. This is one of the biggest money traps because once you enter this cycle of financing cars, it becomes hard to break. It's also one of the worst items to finance due to how expensive it is and the fact that it's a depreciating asset. Not just that, buying more car than you can afford results in more taxes and higher insurance rates. According to LendingTree, the average new car payment in the United States is a whopping $563, with the average loan length being 70 months. Then once the car is finally paid off, its value is only a fraction of what it was purchased for. For those of us that need a vehicle, there's no easy way around the expense. However, minimizing the cost by purchasing a reliable used vehicle that won't require much maintenance and isn't going to lose half of its value in the first few years will be beneficial. This is a much better habit to adopt until you can actually afford to purchase the car you want. There are plenty of money traps that can ruin you financially. The good news is that by avoiding these largest and most common mistakes, you're much more likely to be successful. Instead of wasting all of your money on an outrageous car payment or in larger and more expensive houses than you need, invest those funds into assets that will fund your lifestyle in the future. You won't care about that new car you bought 30 years ago, but you'll be thrilled if you invested that money and it had compounded many times.